everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of the Business Blueprint. I have someone that I've known for, oh boy, how long's it been?
Dude, it's been every bit of 25, 27 years.
Long time. Again, connected, reconnected. We've all gone through life, spiraled through all different things together. Bounced around in the construction world, though. We've all played some sort of role, and he's helped me a ton in the last few years, helping out the odds and ends, anything that we need at Hemlock, which has been extremely appreciated. He's bounced around from different industries and really excelled in a lot of different fields. I want to introduce a friend of mine, Craig Markley.
Good to be here, buddy. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. So the whole point of kind of this podcast is, business, construction, real estate, whatever you're kind of into, from all levels, whether it's ground level or all the way up to, multi-million-dollar companies. So give us a little background about you, and then we'll jump into what you're kind of getting into.
All right. Well, I mean, I've been in the construction industry probably my whole entire life. Went to the oil and gas for about 10 years. I was a roughneck. I drilled the actual gas, and then just came back and wanted to start my own company up, and just learning really how hard it is to start at the bottom, especially when you start with nothing. You know what I mean? Not so much money, but just money also, but connections, people, not having a heritage of family dropping down the business where you just take it over. It's quite a journey, and it's stressful and very hard at times.
Yeah. Yes, for sure. Right. So, I mean, there's always, two ways of, whether you get a business passed down to you, which has its own stresses, whether it's, when Penrod's on here and that business has been going since 1976, and my dad's, when I worked with him, it's the pressure of you don't want to fail it. Then whenever you start your own thing, it's like, well, whether it's funding to get started or not knowing the right contacts, or people even struggle with setting up EINs and setting up business bank accounts and insurance. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts just to get the idea of starting your own business. Now, marketing and advertising and all the things that, kind of go into that. For me, now that it's been multiple businesses, it's hard to remember that period. But, every time as you kind of grow, you start to feel that same fear, and you start to feel those same, unsure moments of like, hey, is this going to work out? Am I really going to be able to do this? Like, it's definitely challenging in regards to that. So
I think with us is, and I believe that you're in the same position, is, we haven't had the best of backgrounds, coming up. So in a lot of my thoughts that are my own personal thoughts, I believe that maybe that might hinder me, or, possibly even you in the beginning, just because, people see you from 15, 20 years ago, as this wild child, which we both still have some wild left in us, but definitely not what we used to be. Sure. And I believe that sometimes that hinder us. Like, oh, do you want, Craig Markley to come by, or Bryan to come by? This is what they went through in their life. And then people are like, I don't know. But,
Yeah, it's a weird thing, right? So as you grow and as you become something, you're like, oh, I hope somebody doesn't Google me, or does those kind of things, right? And it's happened. Oh yeah, sure. No, it definitely happened. Yeah. We've done a couple of projects for, last year we did one for a state trooper in Mount Lebanon. He called it out. We did a project for.
I'm sure that takes your heart back a bit.
And then, wow, yeah, you know what? What's really weird is what I found is no one really cares that much.
Yeah.
No one really cares. It's mostly us that fucks it all up, right? So, we get more paranoid about it than they do, because, again, you start to see older dates and all these things and yada, yada. So one thing that really changed my mindset on it is I've earned so many more accolades in my life that it was really hard for him to even find. And that made me feel a lot better, which was cool, because, again, like, that's the first thing you think of. You're like, he's going to look at that. And I'm like, there's a lot of shit before you get to that.
Yeah,
no doubt. But So I agree with you. I mean, I think you're always worried about being judged, or you're the fear of like.
Well, I think we'll have that for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, yeah.
No matter how big or small you are, I think a lot of people get into that situation where they, think more than what's actually happening. And it comes with anything. It comes with, even starting out. Like, there's jobs that I know for a fact that I know how to do, hands down. Maybe better than other people, maybe not. But I still know how to do them, but I still have a complex where I'm like, man, maybe I need somebody to come in and, you know what I mean? But it's just me inside myself being like, dude, just
do it.
Yeah, just handle it. You know what I mean? You don't need to worry about this stuff as much as you think you need to worry about it.
Yes, because no matter what, there's gonna be shit that goes wrong. There's gonna be moments in the conversations. There's going to be instances in business, no matter what, that we're gonna learn by falling flat on our fucking face. We just stepped into a world. I think I was talking to you about this and Steve yesterday. We stepped in and did a gigantic master bathroom. Big dough.
Yeah.
Big dough.
Yeah.
Didn't make shit. Didn't make shit. Took us like 10 weeks. Didn't make shit. Because again, like every job's like an investment. Yeah. Like there's no guarantee to the money that you think you're going to make. We learn pricing by not making money. We learn there's different hoops and hurdles in your process or your contract by a client pointing it out and picking through it and beating you up for money.
Yeah.
That's how the game works. Like we're all going to lose money in certain, but there's going to be jobs that are winners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Huge winners.
Well, and the problem with us is, and a lot of people, it's this whole industry is a roller coaster.
Yes.
It's up and down. And when it's up, it's super up. And when it's down, it's like, all right.
There's no like flat part on the track.
Nothing.
Yeah. So
this isn't like a 9-to-5 doctor schedule where you go and you're doing the same thing. Yeah.
So I always tell everybody, the way I base it is like enjoy the ride up the hill. Enjoy the ride up the hill, because whenever you get to a certain point, it becomes extremely stressful in other regards, and the game starts coming after you. Now, whether it's you are perceived as a big business and people want to sue you, or whatever it is, you're looked at in a different limelight than you are in the mom and pop stage. Mm-hmm. And when you're in the mom and pop stage, you're very versatile in the sense of if the market shifts, you can hurry up and shift gears and go to something different. When you're me now and you kind of have, 17 plus employees, a big office now, and you can't just up and be like, okay, I'm going to go this way anymore. We're more like a barge that turns at like a slower speed. Whereas when you're starting out, or when you have, for your first few years in business, you're like a little jet boat. You can make turns and maneuvers pretty easily.
There's a lot of pivoting.
For sure. So why don't we touch base upon, the company name, what you're looking to get into and whatnot.
Yeah. So I picked the name, Rough Diamond Contracting and Excavation. Literally, I took it after my gram. My gram used to always call me her diamond in the rough, just because, diamonds are formed under pressure. And that's pretty much been my life, is under pressure. Mm-hmm. So I went with that, doing contracting and excavation, from French drains, land clearing, site work, retaining walls, stone patios, just a mixed variety of everything. I've been running heavy equipment since I was 16. I'm 39 now. Transitioned back and forth from running, the machines, but have always been in there. But like I said, I mean, I'm in the union. I'm in Local 66, and it's, I don't think the unions are what they used to be, And I know a lot of people, as we both know, a bunch of the same people, that, there's been a lot of operators that have left and started their own business because the union's just not there. You might work 6 weeks here, be off for 3 there, work a month here, off for 2. You're always off all winter. It's a lot. But then, that's where the big thing comes in, because, with a lot of operators and people in the labor's union and everything, when they're laid off during winter, they're able to collect. Mm-hmm. But that's the biggest transition, and probably one of the scariest transitions, because when you start off and you have your own business, there's no more of that. So if you don't get the jobs in that you want for the year and put a bankroll up for the winter, now you're in hard times.
Yeah, it is a, like you said, the up and down roller coaster, right? So, and it always is an inevitable thing. It doesn't matter what size of business you're in. You know, we've talked recently even about what I have going on. Like, yeah, we had a pretty good year last year, but we spent all my operating capital. You know, we bought the new office. We decided to go all in on the remodel of it. And then now you have jobs that are contracted, but you have variance problems in multiple lots,
And weather
problems on
Yeah.
every lot.
It's been a heck of a week.
For sure.
Yeah.
And, you know, then you have, you know, we have 2 houses that have variance issues. We have a guy that committed fraud on one of our lots that we were supposed to build 2 houses on. So you have 4 houses right there. Then we have another one that is, you know, can't see the development or the development council in Cecil till middle of June.
Yeah.
So this is all revenue that we were counting on that is getting pushed. And every 2 weeks in our business is $35,000, $40,000. I mean,
You have a lot of overhead.
for sure.
A lot.
ton. And that's what the game gets to, you know, and that's what I said is, even when you're at a certain peak, like there's always a point where you're like, oh my God, the cash flow, like things aren't pushing the way you want to push them. And you're like, okay, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Oh boy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, but you just got to get really serious on what you're doing in regards to, you know, making those decisions on overhead and maneuvering money and the jobs, like you said, because when you're working exterior, you don't get every week's perfect.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have to maneuver around and be creative with the weather and take what you can get when you can get it. I mean, obviously, you know, there's been guys that, a lot of operators, especially new construction, I mean, those guys have been around for 25 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of that game where they're an old school operator. They got an old school guy with them and a son.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's one of the bigger things that I see with, you know, your company is that I know most all the guys that work for you, and I could say, you know, that I believe that a lot of them really don't understand or know like the stress that you go through.
Yeah. I mean,
You're pretty open with all your guys, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of them that, you know, just even friends that don't understand like
Yeah.
what you like. Your phone is nonstop.
Nonstop.
Even when I'm blowing you
Yeah,
up,
it's
you know, I ask questions about business. You have people just constantly coming in.
yeah, I'm you know, I'm blessed in some ways and not blessed in others. I don't have to now I have all the problems will ultimately fall onto me no matter what. But because at some point, if the problem's big enough, then we're all involved.
Yeah.
If it's a singular problem in construction, it usually doesn't get to me until it's like a catastrophe.
Yeah.
When it gets to me, like it's catastrophe time.
Yeah, it's
and
big.
and then it's all of us.
Yeah.
We're all hands on deck.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but
yeah, you guys got a good team.
I don't
going.
have to deal too much with the construction bullshit too much, which is a lot of bullshit. Clients and you know and a lot of that stuff, it's, you know, in remodeling, it's everybody tries to get a lot of things for free and whatnot. And we give away a ton of stuff for free. I mean, we have one now that you know, swears that something was in the proposal and it's not. And
Yeah.
what do you do, right? You know, do you get in an argument just so you do it anyways, or you just do it? So like, we just end up doing it, you know, and that's a really tough hurdle in business, especially early on, because when you're doing things for free and you have no money to begin with, you're just over there like sweating and you're just rubbing like, I don't know what I'm trying to do this for free.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Well, I don't think a lot of people know how much you and your team do for people and like give away. You know, like we were just talking about that job that over there in Pleasant Hills with a contractor that really screwed over a customer, and you're like, listen, I'm going to go in and do it at cost, and you know, in hopes that, you know, it shows the kind of people that Hemlock are. Plus, you are able to tap into maybe, you know, people over there where you wanted to tap in. But the fact that you even have the heart to do that, there's a lot of contractors and plenty that we both know that would never ever consider doing something like that because of another contractor.
Yeah. So I don't think. So marketing's a weird thing, right? So marketing nowadays is social media based. Marketing is word of mouth based. Marketing's wearing your apparel. Marketing is, it can be direct mail. It can be Google AdWords. It's all types of stuff now. But I you know, one of our core values in our company is connection. And that's because we're trying to create a connection with people that we're going to be friends with for a long time. I mean, dude, I have a lady that we did our kitchen for, and I just sold her that house up in North Hills. She's one of my favorite human beings on earth. I love her. But I met her through a circumstance of a contractor screwing her over, and I helped her out with another contractor, who then we did her kitchen, who then we did her pool cabana, who then we've done other projects for. And I mean, these are years of relationships that we still do with these people. So for me, I'm like, okay, when I go into a house, and for one, most contractors don't ever say or do what they really say. They're not going to do it. Like, they're just not. And
they always try to cut corners somewhere.
Always, somewhere, somehow. Now, that's why, like, we don't do deposits and stuff like that. Because why? Because contractors walk away with it. Now, legally, you can take a third. Most try and take 50% nowadays and not even supply material. Like, what are you taking 50% of? Your time you haven't invested yet? Yeah. Like, I'm lost here. Yeah. So we don't do any deposits, but
on the beginning, well, I mean, even then, you came from a very, lucrative job before you started Hemlock, so you had a lot of money coming up. But talking to other contractors and friends, I talked to them, and they gave me some good advice, and they're like, listen, if you're going to take a third at the beginning, third in the middle, and a third at the end.
Third is the safe way to go.
And they said, usually if you bid the job right and you do it right, that third at the end is your profit. And that was like one of the best kinds of info that I heard.
It's extremely true. And when you start to get into equipment game and you're starting to get into some other stuff, you have to have cash flow. Yeah. So cash flow will always be a problem in any business. It doesn't matter what level. It's always a problem of managing pay, materials, jobs, weather, this, that. Like I said, so whenever we get an opportunity and I feel like in a certain position, I'll do jobs at cost for people that have been screwed over. It's 99% of the time of jobs of people that have already had a bad experience with somebody. And again, if we can turn it into a win for the client and then a win for us in a market we're not into, I mean, that to me is real marketing. Yeah, and I don't know any contractors out there doing that. No. I mean, we did multiple jobs last year for cost. Yeah. Just because when I see other people who've screwed over other people, I'm going to step in and help. Yeah. Just because at the end of the day, when we play my outlook on business is always long-term. Like, short-term cash that comes fast will sink your ship. Long-term cash that comes slower, you greatly appreciate it. We built our company from zero. Mm-hmm. And now, I mean, when you get to the point, like, again, you got to live in the moment and be thankful for what you have and all the other stuff, but it's not easy. I mean, and we talked about it in the last episode, this business is tough. Yeah. Tough. Well,
people forget that a lot of people actually do start out at the bottom.
Everybody starts out at the bottom.
Like, you're not just showing up. I mean, some people are. Some people got some hidden money, some dad money.
Yeah, but like invested, like, listen, inherited money or given money is bullshit money. We've had opportunities to have investors in our business. Don't want it. We could go out and I could go out and raise probably $50 million in capital. Don't want it. Yeah. Me, Steve, and Ryan have been super clear that we would rather put our own money back into the business at every opportunity possible, that we don't answer to anybody else but us and our clients.
Well, you have to.
You could easily go raise money for a private, to get equipment, but then that person might want equity in the business. Yeah. And once you lose equity, you no longer have the say. Right. I don't like that. Like, you might as well go get a job.
Yeah, that reminds me of back when, what was that? Right before COVID, I was going to start that other business, and we had everything. Me and you both were going into it together, and then COVID blasted, and there was nobody. Like, we could have pulled funds out of your pocket, but you don't want to do that. Like, it's not going to help the business grow.
Yeah, and there was definite circumstances in both of our lives at that point that I think, I don't know. I mean, it's always something. I did see one company that does it around here. I seen it being promoted at a local notary in Peters. Okay. And then I had one of my neighbors who builds the classic cars, the one to the right. He had a C10 done by a guy who did it and had an awful experience. Yeah. So I think there's still a lot of opportunity in that Absolutely. That we, could always reinvestigate. But I think a lot of things too is timing. I think timing plays a big factor.
Yeah, I don't think timing for not just COVID, but I think just in life, in my time of life at that point. Just wasn't the right move. I still have a big interest in it.
Yeah.
Not too many people even know about the business, so keep it under wraps. But yeah, it's definitely a learning experience for sure.
It presents a lot of challenges in the sense of, what I've learned over the years is, and this is me even going into other businesses as an employee, you always look at everybody's business who's bigger than yours, and you're like, that thing's perfect. That thing's just making fucking dough.
Yeah,
It is
I still even do
rolling,
that.
brother.
You're like, oh, okay, he's
and
killing it.
you've been around long enough with me, and even internally with our company, to see like you moved us out of here, this space, back
I moved you out of here to across the street, from across the street
to the other one in Peters,
and then
Peters
from Peters
to the other one. Right. So you've been there through the whole evolution of it, and it's not perfect. There's not a business in the world that is. There's not a company in the world that you can say is hey, this is the most perfect company that there is. And I always think no matter what, you're gonna have to always work on it. Now, I think business, the number one key that we always talk about is relationships, right? So it's like, okay, how do we get that certain opportunity to present, for the next come up of how do we, provide value to somebody who's above me that may then help me out to get to the next level.
Well, I know when you say about relationships, it's funny that you say that, because I know with starting up, before, when it's all talk, you got a lot of people, friends, acquaintances, whatever. They're like, hey, listen, you get it started, I got you. I got jobs. Let me advertise for you. Let me do this. I'll hook you up. Any jobs that come in, I'm going to send them your way. I'm going to get you rolling. Then as soon as you get it fired up, you start making phone calls. You're like, hey, I'm fired up. And they're like, crickets. You're like,
oh yeah.
You're like, where were you? Like, are you, and me, and I know you also, we're not that way. Like, if we say we're going to do something, we do it. If we're going to be there at 4:15, we're there at 4:15, But a lot of these people out there just blow smoke in a lot of people's faces because, one, they either don't want to give you the business, or two, they don't want to see you become bigger than they are.
Yes.
And that's, I think the biggest thing, I think a lot of it is.
There's always a worry.
Yeah.
There's always a worry.
But a lot of people don't know, and
I get
even
motivated.
off,
I like that shit though. Like I do.
Oh,
Like,
it digs me.
it.
Like
I
love when people say you're not going to be able to do it. All right, so
because the will in the game always has to change, And I remember when I quit drinking when I was 23 years old. Everybody told me I would never do it, and that just fueled me for a while.
Yeah.
And then I got a year. And then I was like, let's just keep playing around with this. And I was like, it got to a point, I'm like, this is, here we are 14 years later. But like, again, it's the added fuel at the beginning of everybody telling me you can't. And I'm like, that's interesting. I think I can do anything. But
a lot of people, I think a lot of people rather call people like an alcoholic or a druggie or whatever like that, because it's easier for them to say negative things about you than it is for you to say like, hey man, I'm proud of you.
Yeah, no
Like,
doubt.
I feel like more men should be like, and not on some gay shit, on man shit, but like, be like, hey man, I'm proud of you for sticking out 5 years clean, 2 years clean, getting out of prison and not ever going back that same path, of all these different things. But too many people rather see you go up and then come right back down and be like, I told you so.
Yeah, I mean, I give everybody their flowers when they're deserved. There's a very small circle in the sense of people that I can call, and you're one of them that I'll call at whatever time where you're rocking with me, and we're going to get it done. And you've shown that a million times over years, and that's equal for each of us, right?
Absolutely.
You call me, I'm there. You're the other way, I'm there. And that circle gets smaller and smaller as you grow older in life, and especially your friend groups, because they change so many times. Like, I definitely have some friends that I've known since a long time, but I also have friends that I've just met, in the last 7-8 years, that are, I consider them almost more friends, and I mean, even in business, there's very few people that I've started out in business with and you can break bread with that you're still friends with. Dave Rogers, first one. I've been rocking with that dude day one.
Yeah,
day one.
Homie. For sure.
Day one.
For sure.
I've used that dude since 2000. When he first started that business, I think we were one of the first customers. Still one of the bigger customers with him. Love that dude.
I haven't seen Dave in a long time.
But again,
I just hit him up the other day on the phone, and I was like, DOT sitting over here on 51. Don't be coming down. He's like, who is this? I was like, it's Butter, bitch. What do you mean? How do you not have my number? He started laughing.
It's again, he's a dude though. I call him, I need something, he's there immediately, and those relationships you start to forge and bond and grow over time. And you know, it's weird that you'll start to meet people that you don't even know that'll treat you better than the people you do.
Yeah.
You know, and it gets you to look at things differently in the scope of life and the way you kind of just handle issues and bullshit, you know, and you're like, all right, this isn't that.
There's a lot of people that I can see that I grew up with that even just watching their moves day to day, like a lot of them are still into like the same shit. And I don't mean like drugs or alcohol or anything like that. I mean like just the people that they surround themselves with. Like a lot of these, I've never been somebody that has wanted to hang out with younger crowd. I've always wanted to hang out with older people, you know, and anytime that I've done side jobs before I did start my own company, you know, I would always ask these guys, like I did a job over in Peters. This dude owned a, I forget what it was, like a electrical company for security for big buildings. And I stopped him and I said, hey man, I just got 2 questions. I said, what do you do and how do you do it? First 2 questions. And then the third question was, if you could give any advice to somebody starting out, what would it be that was your biggest lesson you learned? And this gentleman pulled me aside and he goes, you know, I bet you he's 55, maybe 60 probably now. And he said to me, he goes, I've never heard a guy your age ask that question. He goes, most people say how much money you got, what kind of cars you got. And I said, well, I don't want to know any of that. I can buy all that once I get to where I need to go. I said, but my biggest questions are those. And he said, that's how I know that you'll be something someday.
So, man, it's weird. A guy who I look up to, Dan Mead, one of the owners of Prime One Building, who's been building for a long time. And I mean, his shit is flawless. His projects are baller. He gravitated to me early on. And when I first started this company, I went out to the builders trade show out in Vegas, and I took Amber. And you knowing me too, and Amber knowing me, like I'm not outside of like sales and operations. I'm not a very let's chat kind of guy unless I know you.
Yeah.
Man, we got on this plane. I sat next to him. I didn't shut the fuck up the whole time.
Really?
I talked to Dan the whole... Dude, we were walking off the plane. I'm still talking.
Yeah.
Amber looked at me and looked at him. She's like, I've never seen him do this to anybody else in the world. Because again, I wanted to know. Like, I don't care what kind of shit you got. I don't want any of that. I want to know how you got started. I wanted to know the evolutions of construction. I wanted to know your problems. I wanted to know the stuff you encountered each and every step of the way.
How'd you get as big as you did?
100%.
Yeah.
What kind of challenges did you face? How did you do this? What kind of adversity did you get over? Like, what problems did you line up? Like, that's the shit I want. That's real knowledge.
And that's the business stuff that I ask every business owner. Like, where did you start? Because I see you have not the house. I don't care about. I used to care, and every boy does. Yeah, cares about the Lambos, the cars, the houses, all that. Yeah. Now I don't care. I just want to know, how did you start off? You know what I mean? If you came from truly nothing. Now, how do I put this? I have a huge respect. I mean, huge for people that started a business from nothing, more than I have for people that took over somebody else's business. Whether they may have grew it into something, you know what I mean, bigger, or went a different route, okay. But you didn't start from zero. You didn't start from nothing. Yeah. You had that built that either your father or grandfather started. And that's just where the fence line that I walk on, because it's very hard for you to go to somebody that had something passed down and be like, well, how'd you get your first job? Which way did you market to get your first job?
And there's a business model, and you better know how to operate a business. Yeah. Like if you take over a business or buy a business, you better know how to operate business.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yeah. A lot of that when you're growing up with your father, grandfather, whatever, you're in that already. You know,
what's wild is I worked for my dad for 13 years. He didn't teach me shit about fucking business. It's not a fucking thing.
You learned it somewhere.
I watched him. You know, again, like Amber always gets like, nowadays when people go out, they're all on their fucking phones, right? Yeah. So like, even when we go out, if the kids go out, like you're on I even fall victim to it. But I'm more of a people watcher. So I watch how people's attention gets and I watch how they maneuver conversations.
I think that comes from a lot of our background. Because I'm the same way.
For sure. Yeah. But like, I'm a people watcher in the sense of like, how are you guiding this conversation? Like, why are you in this conversation? Like, where's it kind of going? What are you into? What are you not into? You can tell a lot by what people wear. You can tell a lot by, certain shit. I've always just been that person. Because for me, when I first go on a sales appointment, or I always did, when I go into your home for an interior remodel, I first take a 360 glance around the room to find some commonality. Yeah. If I find some commonality inside that house, we're going to talk about that. Me and you are now fucking friends.
Well, I can do that.
I'm going to talk about golf. Yeah. But that's the thing.
It's called a chameleon.
For sure. So you have to be able to, because the thing for me is, I always tell everybody about sales is my only sales tactic anymore. And I've been through sales training all across the country. I went to sales training in numerous states. I've taken all kinds of courses, and it's great shit. I don't care about any of that anymore. For me and how I teach sales to our team is our goal is to get them to like us more than they like you.
Well, you should always adapt to your situation, and that's a big thing is when you're meeting with somebody and you're going in their house.
And this is where I think, people get fucked up on social media and some of the other shit is social media is a platform to let some people get into your life to some degree. Mm-hmm. Do they really know us? No. But what gets the most likes on any social platform in the world? It's pictures of you and your kids.
Yeah.
Or pictures of you in your houses. Now, I've posted every single day, once a day, every day for over 3 years. And I mean every day. I give a lot of game out for free. A lot of game for free.
Yeah.
It gets no likes. But all the pictures of the houses or me and my kids, all the likes. So again, that just shows what people are more into. They want to see more of the human side of you. That's what people are into. So
that's why when I first started out, I'm like, man, because you now know I hate Facebook.
Right.
I don't have Instagram.
But I told you what to do though. Your cover photo, the regular photo, like it's all strategy.
Well, you know me and the electronics. We don't get along too well, but I'm not as smart as
But it's all strategy in the sense.
But you did say to me, you were like, I was like, should I have a personal page? And you were like, yeah, because people want to be able to connect with your business and then share it on your personal thing. But there's a lot of people out there that share things. They got a lot of likes, but they got no wealth.
Yeah, but it's the same shit of like, when people go through the funnel of business, they'll go to your business page, they'll figure out who you are, then they'll go on your personal page. That's like now looking at like, the way I look at social media is it's like your own personal baseball card. Yeah. Your stats are inside of it. This is your life's work. This is what you want to. This is your highlight reel. Yeah. That you're creating. Now, a lot of people don't want to put out the bullshit. And there's a lot of stuff that happens in business. We talked about it. Like we had a guy that we previously did work for, bashed us, completely fucking lied, 100% lies. There isn't one person on this earth that can say Hemlock ever ditched them or did them in bad regard and walked away and didn't say anything. Yeah. Not one client. And we have hundreds at this point. There's not one client that can say that. We've gone back and fixed things years later. And you don't have to. Yeah. Like PA law is 1 year. After that, I can ghost you. I don't know you anymore. But again, that breaks our core values of connection. If you were with us early on, you gave it, like, especially early on, the early on people that took a chance with us, I'll come back and fix your things till I die. Yeah. Because without you, I wouldn't be here.
Well, we talked about that comment or whatever that was made on Facebook and Google and stuff like that. And like I explained to you on the phone right after it happened, I said, that you can't always go off of what people say, because at the same time, they could be going through some personal issue where, like, just say like you're trying to build somebody a house, and next thing you know is they get denied for the money, and they're like, what the fuck, Bryan Bursick ain't gonna build me a house at Hemlock? These trash. Well, you're only going after Bryan because you didn't get approved for that. Mm-hmm. So like, and I'm sure that's why that guy took them posts down and everything else, which is good. He should have. But the whole point is that you never know what somebody's going through. So people react, they're always reacting on their own self instead of other people.
And that's client retention and client
one of the
stuff.
Best waters here, buddy.
Oh, boy. Only the best for you. I'm telling
Appreciate
you.
it.
I'm telling you. I only plan the best for you. So, I think, again, in the sense of, there's always those fears because no matter what, like we're 6 years in business and things happen and it freaks you out. But again, if you go through business and you don't care about that kind of shit, you're going to go out of business.
Yeah.
Like you're going to go out of business
Yep.
because you're going to be hit with, what I always tell everybody is business becomes very challenging when you're the guy who is the operator, the installer, the sales guy, the got to go get the materials guy, the tax guy, so there's two models, right? So everybody looks at us and was like, oh, you got all this help now. I'm like, yeah, I do now, but here's what that help does. The help means I got to share all of our money with the help, and I dearly love our team. I do, but we hired people early on because I realized if we want to go to where I want to go, I can't do it by myself. I can't do it with just me, Ryan, and Steve. We all knew that because, listen, we need to build a team out as quickly as possible. Even if we didn't have the funds or the means to hire any employees, we got to figure it out. So there's a lot of figuring out in business. And again, it comes back to that same fear, right? So I think everybody is scared to death to hire their first employee. I've
already been thinking that.
To fucking death because there's workman's comp that comes, there's more insurances.
And what happens if you don't have the work coming in?
What happens if you don't have the work? What happens if you don't have this? What happens if you don't have that? And I always tell everyone, like, you can always fire that person. That's the real reality of it. But not that you ever want to. I mean, the real reality is the funny thing about business, when you make business decisions and you're fully into the business decision, it just happens. Because what it does is when you hire your first employee, you're now forced to level up. You are forced to level up because now you have somebody you're responsible for who has a family and is counting on this check every 2 weeks. That's a different pressure. Huge. Now,
especially when you got to feed somebody else's family.
Fuck. So, this is what I told the team because I've been cranky. I've been 10,000% cranky about the move and everything else. And it's a big step up. And now the weight of the business, when it gets on your shoulders, is so big that you're just crushed by it. And you're like, same thing. I'm like, I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, we're getting all this stuff pushed. Like, oh my God, we're net loss right now. Like every month. Oh my God, how long do we have to hang on? Oh my God. Like, what am I gonna do? Am I have to lay anybody? I've never laid anybody off. Like I'm not going to, but I mean, I'm like, we went through COVID and never, ever, ever would thought about laying anybody off. I always tell everyone is the same thing. When you first decide to start, and you made that real decision and you took the 100% jump. Do
you think that is your biggest scare? The first jump off?
Yeah. It was my biggest scare, and it was also,
I know you, and I can tell each time you do a move to somewhere bigger, like this place is a decent size. Then other building across the street went even bigger, and now you went a little bit bigger after that. And now you're fucking monstrous. I know. So like, I know you're scared each time you go, and that comes with a lot of people. But I'm curious: was your biggest scare starting off, or was it hiring your first person, or what was it?
I actually wasn't that scared to hire our first person. Getting started was, again though, biggest scare was whenever I was fired from my job in 2017 and was fully involved in Hemlock. And I went from zero. When I went from over 100 G's a year to zero, like that, brother. Now I'm pretty frugal with my money, so I didn't waste it. So I had income, but I burned through it. Starting the business, we put money into it and burned through it. Got it back over a little bit, and I think, again, I think fully committing to a business is just like hiring your first employee. Like when you fully decide to do it and you're 100% committed, you're either going to figure it out or you're not. It's how bad do you want it?
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people, regardless of look at you and people that truly know me, like I have things. I love toys. Like, we all love our toys. I have a lot of toys. And I don't put any of that out there to the public or anything, but I work my fucking face off though. Like
Yeah.
I work a lot, dude. You know, and I think a lot of people if they would ever see the breakdown of how many hours I work compared to like the things I have, they're like, that's not that
Yeah,
important.
but I think
It's not that important to me.
no, but I think with people like us and just the things that we've been through in life, I think that is better because when I'm fully busy nonstop, like doing stuff at the house or doing stuff on jobs, and I'm like there taking phone calls, doing all this, I'm not idle. There's no devil that's trying to play in my life.
I'm with you, and I think I'll always be addicted to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, yeah.
because I don't. Yeah, now, yesterday was a unique day, man. I actually ran out of shit to do for the first time. I could have fabricated some shit.
I'm
You
sure
know
you
what I
weren't
mean?
Building furniture over there.
No, I was gonna. I'm waiting for you though. When that pavilion's done, I got a 10-piece
Bro,
set.
my knees are still blown out.
I
from
get
laying
it.
there.
I got a 10-piece set. We got to
Downward
build.
dog
I
style.
get it. I got a 10-piece set. I got to build for that thing. But anyway, so I took an hour yesterday. I was waiting on Steve. We had to stain some boards, and I put a chair up by the top of my hill. And looked out. I sat down and read a book for an hour
Where, at the house or the business?
in the house.
Really?
In my house.
Good for you.
Read a book for an hour.
Good for you.
Sat out in the sun.
Yeah, because you're all calm
got
now.
a little vitamin D.
You're all calm now because that brush blew down the fucking river.
I'm more
and
calm.
You ain't out there with a grappling hook.
I am more calm. I'm prepared for the next battle.
You should be. You should
But
be.
I think, fully committing to what you're going to do in business is challenging. That's the most challenging with no side money coming in.
Yeah.
That's very tough.
Yeah,
It freaks you out. Now, I think also it goes in stages. The second one's going to be when you get to your first employee. Nobody wants to pull that trigger because it's a forever thing. At one point we had 14 field guys. And I'll be honest, when we first started, we weren't making shit. Most of them dudes we were just breaking even.
Yeah.
Because I always tell my philosophy for business, and I don't think a lot of people like it, but that's okay. I'm going to tell it. I think in business, and this is how I got started, I gave away all my shit for free. I mean, I made fucking zero on our first a lot of projects. Zero. And we made sure that every project was fucking perfect. Yeah. Every single project was perfect. And then I focused on Google reviews. So I forced you to basically give me a Google review. And if you did, I'm indebted to you for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I'll sell my soul to you,
right?
I guess, but and that's still true. I mean, we have almost 70 Google reviews, and that's a lot for construction.
Well, after a while, it doesn't matter what people say; is the work speaks for itself.
Yeah, no, it's crazy because you hear shit from like that dumbass that said something about me. Like people listened, but it flutters through.
Yeah,
it was a moment where you were aired out, and it was a moment where you had to understand that the game. You need to know your clients. That was the moral of my story. Is not every person who wants you to do a big high level job is your client. Yeah. So that's another level in business that you get to is, your brand is here. It's very important. Now this dude over here got 120 G's and you're like, real hard to turn that down. But then you're like,
I think your radar might have been off a little bit on that one.
Oh, it's way off.
Because usually you're pretty good.
Off.
Like I talked to some people and they're like, listen, if I get bad vibes from you, I'm throwing your bid through the roof.
Way off.
Like
way
90,000.
Yeah,
and they're going to come back and be like, nah, never mind. Because I just got bad vibes that I'm not sure if you're even going to pay.
Way off.
Yeah.
It was a nightmare thing from the start. I call a lot of resources. So before I do anything, I call my committee. But these are people I love and respect in business. I will call you on things when I get stuck. Because I need to hear from an outsider's perspective,
Yeah, we all do.
For sure. So when I made the move on the River House, I called a lot of people about that. Alex was in here on the last podcast. He's the one who helped me put that whole thing together. I would have never played it that way. Kudos to him, helped me out. He's done that on multiple properties for me. There's a circle that I have of people now, whether it's I need to fire somebody or whether I should promote somebody or something's happening internally, which way should I move? There's 5 to 7 people that I call every time before I do anything, because I don't want to react emotionally anymore, because that's whenever you usually make the wrong decision.
Absolutely. Every time.
I think for guys like us too, we're very prone to go back to the stage that we used to be, and I think in business, there needs to be a growth in the sense of your attitude, my thing is being self-aware. So I'm by natural intentions, I'm a very selfish person. Like I have that character defect. I do. I don't ever really think about doing nice things for people all like that. Like I'm super dialed in business, and I play the game for real.
Yeah, and see, I'm a little opposite.
You're a little opposite.
Yeah.
You and Steve more got that kind of vibe of
Yeah,
you're a people first person.
Yeah, we're always trying to help somebody else
for
out.
Sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Now, again, it might be because I've been burned a ton in my life. Or
I have too, but
sure.
you give a lot of people the benefit of the doubt.
Right.
But at the end of the day, too, sometimes that hurts you. It does, because you do all these things for people, but you're really not doing anything for yourself. You know what I mean? Like you come in and, charge somebody a lot less because they're your buddy, but then down the line, they might come back and burn you on something else or whatever like that. And you're like, oh, here I go again,
My outlook on business and friends is this.
There's got to be a line.
There's got to be a line, but also I don't want shit for free. Like, I'm going to pay you.
Yeah.
Because when you need something from me, I'm going to charge you.
Yeah.
And again, that's not everybody's outlook, but it's the outlook that I like.
Yeah.
Because I've lost too many friends over money, and I've lost too many friends over power, or street credibility.
Well, I remember when we first reconnected, I'm 10 years ago, and we were talking about something, and the first thing you said is like, nah, I'll pay you. And I'm like, nah, it's all good. I'll just do it. I think I was working on your quad or something. I was like, nah, I'll just take care of it. And you're like, listen, I've had people hit me up from back in high school that was like, dude, you remember when you bought me a Snickers? Or I bought you a Snickers? And you're like,
I don't like that shit.
And I told you from day one that I would never be that person.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
Never have been that person towards you or anybody else.
No, and I don't like that shit because I don't love having anybody ringing the bell over my head. Like, I owe you some shit.
40 years.
Yeah, I don't owe you shit. If I do something for you, it's because I want to do it for you. But there's also in a business side, a business side is a win-win, right?
Well, most of the time when you do something for somebody, even for me in the past, with whether it would be lumber or whatever, you're like, dude, I got some leftover stuff. You want it?
I don't speak on it.
Yeah, but you don't, but you're not like, bro, you're like, hey, I got some extra flooring. I know you're trying to get your floor done.
Yeah.
Why don't you go down to my storage unit and just go take it? You're not one that's like, hey, I'm going to sell you this. Just give me it. But if, they're coming to do something for you, you're like, I'll just fucking pay you.
Yeah. It's 100%. I mean, I do a lot for a lot of people and don't speak on it most of the time. I stopped at Lowe's. Them kids were selling fucking hoagies outside of Dick's.
Can't believe you didn't get me one. I love them Bethel Band, or that, who was it? That was Washington County, huh?
Yeah. I gave them kids $400. I took 2 hoagies.
Yeah.
I support anybody who's at that ground level, and I always will. Somebody that I love and dearly and who is very successful told me, and I live by this, doesn't matter what sector you are in life, there is somebody who's doing worse than you, and you should always give back. Always. Well, if you're in a position to be somewhere, you always give back. It doesn't matter if it's $5 tip, which is $5 more than what you got.
Yeah.
Or just, saying something nice to somebody or opening a door or yes, ma'am, no, sir. I'm a big proponent of that with my kids. You always treat people with respect until they don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And I think for us is, we get worked up a lot.
Yeah, we do.
And,
well, there's always respect until there's disrespect. Then once there's disrespect, then, okay, now it's time for a smoke check. Yeah.
People need smoke checks, no doubt. For us, it's, I think, we need outlets too, whether it's, enjoying time on the river or quad riding or just, anytime we're together, it's always a fun thing. But, there's got to be a separation between business and just how do you break from the chaos and the monotony of what we have going on.
Yeah, which is what I love about what you started you probably started a couple years ago maybe, I believe. But you do now Sundays and which I love is no No business. It's all family time. And that's what you need to have because,
Yeah.
I mean, just every time I come over to the house, I see them girls and I'm like, damn, dude, these girls are growing up,
Yeah, and the girls got mad at me yesterday. They did a photo shoot at our new office, and Abby did some stuff for some clients and stuff like that. So I was just around the house putzing around, getting some stuff done. But when the kids got home, like I wanted to go to the park.
Yeah.
We went to the park, took the basketball, shooting some hoops, played tag, yada yada. And, our friends live up there, and they were gonna do dinner or some shit like that. And I was like, just pass.
Yeah.
Because again, like we don't ever hang out as a family. So I just wanted to watch a movie. I wanted to chill. I wanted to have dinner together. Like, we don't do it often. These girls do dance 24/7.
I know, man.
Dance
got me on another level. I've been trying to take these girls quad ride for how long?
Bro, that's one of the reasons why I haven't really bought one. Because I'm like, it's just sit there
I know.
between me and you.
Yeah.
But, other than that, it's like, so family and time is important for me and the family. And that's why, like, I look at boating and all the same stuff. Like, let's all get together, hang out, and enjoy a Sunday on the, in the sun. And who cares about work? Who cares
Winter's
about
definitely
bullshit?
different than
Winter
summer.
fucking sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, the winter sucks.
Like, I work all day,
all
night.
day.
Yeah.
7 days.
Yeah.
We're going hard.
Saturday or summertime, we're stopping at like 4:15.
I told everybody right now, the second this river clears up, I am gone.
Yeah.
I'm fucking gone.
Yeah.
And I need it. And, me and you, we've always used quad riding as a meditation or as an outlet.
I think it's because of, at least for me, it's even just like when I had a street bike and I would be riding down doing dumbass shit like wheelies at 120 mile an hour. But that's like when I'm the most clear headed. And it's
because you're focusing on not dying.
Well, that too, but like even in the woods, like I'm not doing 120.
No,
but
I'm
like smoking you, but yeah,
I like it because that's the true drug of it. Is there is no shit payrolls Thursday. I don't give a fuck. Like I'm in fourth gear trying not to hit this tree. Which I always fly over the hill. I get that. You come see me around a turn.
He doesn't fly over the hill. He flies into trees.
Hit a couple trees. I go hard. That's why.
Okay.
I go hard. I've been through the most quads.
Every time we go, you're like, okay, let's go. Feel like I'm in a GNCC race.
I do.
I know.
I do.
Yeah. I always got to look back, make sure you're still there.
Yeah, right. What about that time you were teeter-tottering?
Huh?
What?
What?
What about the time you 50? Tell the story. Tell the story.
So we went riding. Where were we? Pangburn. Yeah, down in Elizabeth. We went riding with a bunch of buddies. Who was all with us? Cushy. And who else?
I can't remember anyone else but me and Cushy. Because we were laughing so fucking hard.
No, there was 3 of us because you sons of bitches left me there. So anyways, I think I popped a tire on my quad and we were on this well pad. And I needed to come get it because I don't think I had my bead locks on then. Something was going on. No, you know what it was? I broke the chain, the master link.
That's what I thought it was when we talked about the other day.
Yeah, so I broke that, and then you guys had to ride back, get the truck, and at that time I had a rental. Shout out Enterprise. Yeah. So
thank you for that Dodge.
Yeah, that 2-wheel drive Dodge. So anyways, it's all of us out there. You guys go and bring the truck back. I'm sitting there. And next thing you know is the quad's over the hill, right? It's just like this. It's a little embankment, but it's not nothing too crazy. You guys are sitting over, and I'm like, well, fuck it. I'll take the truck over. Instead of just thinking like a normal person and putting a strap on there and pulling the quad up over the hill, I was like, I'll do it. Well,
after we asked, tell them the part about did we ask you if you had 4-wheel drive?
I'm getting to that. So then we go over the hill. I'm getting ready to teeter over the hill. And I put my turn signal on because she's like, why are you putting your fucking turn signal on? I was like, I'm making a turn to go over the fucking hill. Starts dying. So we go down. I go over the hill. Everything's good. And I'm like running to get a head start to get back up the hill, right? Well, it was a windrow at the top. Had no bearing in the situation, but it was a nice little windrow at the top. So I was like, I gave her the fucking onion. And went up to the top of the hill. And that before that, Cushy goes, does that thing got 4-wheel drive? I said, yeah, it says 2x4. He goes, it's not 4-wheel drive. I said, fuck it, we'll get it. Go all the way up to the top of the hill. Next thing you know is the thing fucking deadlines right on the frame rails.
50 fucking 50.
Dude, teeter-tottering. And you couldn't. We were,
and it's teeter-tottering.
dude, it was at the point where you couldn't even like teeter it backwards.
It's teeter-tottering in the worst way because the front wheels are still on the ground.
Yeah, yeah. And you couldn't get it up. And then you guys are all over there with your 7 motherfucking chuckles.
I mean, pissing my pants.
Dude, yeah, you guys were dying.
Pissing my pants.
Dying.
Because you were in a level of fucking sheer panic that was ungoddamn
Yeah, because I thought I had to leave the fucking United Rental truck.
and we were on an oil pad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then I had to walk down. Luckily, there was a trucker that came down there filling his tank. I'm like, I need to borrow your strap. And they were like, all right. Then you guys rode to go get Cushy's truck and come back. We broke the strap. And as you guys are pulling in, I'm there with fucking flathead screwdrivers digging underneath the frame rails, thinking that if I just dig a little bit, this thing will teeter back down, and I put it in reverse and gun it again. Nope.
No.
You guys, what the fuck are you doing? I'm digging it out.
Oh, man. You were doing ridiculous shit. I thought you were hiding because you were kind of like under the fucking thing, like hiding. Oh, yeah.
I was, doing geometry under there, trying to figure out the angles, to figure out this math. We got it out, man, and straight to the pressure washer we went. Returned that thing right there.
That in frame.
I don't think it had a dent in frame. I'm pretty sure that's the truck you own now.
It's not the truck I own now.
Pretty fucking similar.
It might be. I don't know.
It probably
drives
is.
like the truck I own now.
Yeah, it probably does. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Just the chaos that went and ensued that day. But we always have. What was that time we went riding? I kept getting stuck in that rut because my quad's so low, and I was like, you know what? Because who'd you say me and who are like Dave? That we'll go hot off the handle. When we went riding at Green Man's and I came around, I was like, the hell with this rut. And I came around and then I just booped it and didn't realize the hillside on the other side was so close and put my front end right in. Wheels all like this, right? You're like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going home, guys.
There's always a bunch of times in riding where we're just absolutely getting our ass kicked.
Yeah.
But in the same sense, like you don't have now, whether it's going bad or it's going good, you can't think about life or business because you're just either so fucking pissed about what is happening in front of you or you're having the greatest time of your life. There's really no in between.
But that's the thing with riding too. Like, you do get a lot of clarity out there. A lot of people think that we're like balls to the wall for 4 or 5 hours. Like there's a lot of time where we just go riding and we're up there, we sit and talk.
Yeah.
All of us, whether it was me, you, Bobby, Jamie, we go out there and we have a good time and we sit there and talk. But even out there, you get a lot of chaos. That day that your quad wasn't starting, and I had to push it. I let you take mine, and you blew the tire out, and I pushed your quad down the freaking road. And I was out of breath. I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving it here. I'll go walk down and get the truck. And the mail lady's like, do you need a ride?
I'm notorious for, I'll pop some fucking tires.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll blow up some motors and pop some tires.
You're known for blowing motors.
I've blown a few.
You got one sitting in my garage right now.
Hoping to transfer that into another garage.
Yeah. Oh, my garage also?
Well, technicality.
Yeah.
Technicality there.
Yeah. Talk about another nightmare with that,
Yeah.
This is I think a good investment, though, coming through with that house.
Yeah.
In my backyard. Yeah.
No, it's a win-win. I think it's a win-win for everybody. It gets you guys it gets you double yard.
We just wanted the property, like I said, for TJ, so TJ could ride his quads. If the girls come over,
it's good for everybody.
Yeah.
No, it's good for everybody.
Absolutely.
It's, real estate and business real estate doesn't ever let you down.
Yeah.
I understand someone else's perspective about doubling up payments and doing all that shit. I'm not an advocate of it. I'm into buying more real estate.
Yeah.
Because for right now, especially because we haven't even seen market inflation. So
right now it's horrible. Keep going up.
When interest rates are high, people tend to not do shit. So now what happens is when interest rates go down, prices of things go up. So we're buying at the low, and we'll make some moves at the high.
Yeah.
That's why I started buying the most houses in the last 2 years because I was too young and not in a financial situation to capitalize on this when I was younger, or I just didn't care. I was making money all in a whole bunch of different other areas. I didn't need it, but
that's the thing one of the things you taught me too is that, and I say this all the time, I'm the idea man. I keep coming up with ideas, whether, and I don't know the people in the what's the word I'm looking for? Got a blank now. Invention. I'm sorry. Dang, dude.
You're an inventor.
Just invention ideas. You know what I mean? I don't know the route that people go there that, you know, who you contact with that.
Well, again, I think, you know, but what we call that in business is called the visionary. So there's two things in business. There's a visionary and an integrator.
But I'm saying that has a problem with aspects of business too, because like I'll come at you with all the ideas and that's the one great thing about us is that like I can always count on you for a good smoke check. If like you're like, dude, just settle the fuck down and pick one thing. Follow that avenue. You know what I mean?
Then branch off of it.
Yeah, and then branch off of it. Because I'll have so many ideas that I'm like, oh, maybe this will make me more money. Maybe
it's easy for us to get fucking scatterbrained because we don't see the perspective of, oh, hey, we're just caught in the moment. You know, so I don't have a lot of great traits in life. Like I always tell everybody, like I'm good at a lot of things, great at nothing, but for me, it's like vision in the alignment of.
You're a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, I guess. But like, you know, I've done multiple personality tests and multiple integrator visionary tests, and I'm like a 51-49.
Yeah.
Like I'm 51% integrator and 49% visionary. So I hire around that and I fire around that too, meaning like I know that I suck at details and I move at the speed of a fucking jet. So that's why I hired Sarah and our office manager first, because I need somebody that I can absolutely trust who's detail oriented, that's there to like pull me back and be like, whoa, bro, slow the fuck down. Mm-hmm. And then I hate marketing. Like I hate marketing. I fucking hate marketing. So that's why we have Taylor. You know, she's great at it. I suck. I am an operator through and through of a business. Like if you want to operate, I'm the fucking man.
Well, you can't be master of everything.
Yeah, but you got to also be able to know your weaknesses and not act like you don't have any.
Yeah.
That's where people get fucked up. And especially in businesses, you need to get very authentic with yourself and be like, okay, I suck over here, so I need to hire. And then you need to see like, okay, how important is that hire to the company, or should I hire over here first? You know, so I tell everybody on our team, like I'm an A, B's, and C's guy. Like your tasks are A oriented, that's money driven tasks. B's are middle operational shit. C's is fluff. If like we need to get to it, we can get to it. You know, so I stack our stuff up, and when my C's bucket gets too big, that's when I make a hire.
Yeah.
Because the C's bucket will overflow, which will then impact your B's and then destroy your A's. Right. Your A's are your money, you know, and that's the activities that always need to be made. C's are like, okay, what gets you to the B, and then B gets you to the A. So, you know, you can let some of that shit go for a little while, but then you can't. You know, employees are an imperative thing for any business. And I think
do it all on your own.
I think the earlier you have them, the better off your business will be in the long term. You know, we've grown over 153% continuously for 5 years, which is very tough to keep a hold of. But if it wasn't for now that I have had employees and have employees, I still have a few that have been there. I have one that's been there since the first day.
Yeah.
You know, and then some of our guys and girls that have been there 4+.
Yeah.
You know, now we're all like rowing in the same direction. You know,
that's what's nice about your guys is you guys have Ryan, Steve. Mm-hmm. You know, Steve handles the remodeling. You handle a lot of the money and finances and things coming in and contracts, and Ryan kills it out there in the field.
I don't even do much of the contracts anymore because, again, I don't know the stuff like that. So I get them to a point, but then Sarah kind of finishes them because she's the detailed person, and that's where we'll get bombed is like, okay, are our contracts good enough to keep us safe? Are our contracts good enough for our clients to stay safe? Are like we all safe during these deals? You know, I was thinking about it the other day because – you know, now it's like, I think a lot of us as business owners or even anybody in the game, like you don't stop and smell like what you're actually doing. You know, like we had a contract come in today signed.
I don't think you stop and see what you're actually growing into.
No.
And I think you need to. That's why when we were out there, your new place, and I said to you, and you were walking up the steps, I'll never forget it because I seen that shit-eating grin. And I was like, you proud of yourself? And you were like, this is the First time.
Yeah.
Like I'm proud of you for
you know,
what you guys
and
have
it
done.
was
Like,
it was a very it was a moment that I got to share with Steve together. That I'll hold dear forever. Because it's been a long battle for all of us, man. But me and Steve sat there one night and we looked at it from outside and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. A lot of people that grow big businesses, though, really, I don't think sit back and just,
No,
and
because
think,
now you like, you know what I mean? When I first started, dude, I was chasing $5,000 jobs. And
Yeah.
today we got in a signed deal at 1.75 million.
I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm at low project jobs, but at the same time, is then you're like sitting back and you're like, damn, dude, how the fuck these guys getting $80,000 walls and doing stuff like that? You're like, where are you finding these customers at? You know what I mean? Not thinking that probably back in the day, they started out at $5,000 jobs.
100%.
Yeah.
Dude, so yeah, today we got into a contract for 1.75 million, and it's incredible. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's a huge job.
Well, a lot of people also, I think, hear them numbers, including me, and you just think total profit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
You're like 1.7.
No.
What?
Very small of that.
Yeah.
But no, I'll tell.
I know I do. Yeah.
I'll tell this story. First basement we ever did for our company, a friend of ours. Again, so when I first started, I leveraged every contact that I personally had. Realtors, friends, family, everybody. Listen, let me do your shit for cheap.
Yeah.
Damn
Just
near.
let me get in the door.
Damn near free.
Yeah.
Dude, I did this basement in Peters Township in my sister-in-law's plan. Fuck, dude. $33,000 is what the fuck I charged her. $33,000. To put it in perspective of what it is now to get a basement from us, it starts at $120,000. Like, starts.
Yeah.
You know, most of our clients are between 100 and 150 for a full finished basement with us, depending on the size. And this basement was decked the fuck out. I mean, I lost my ass. Didn't have a clue what we were doing. Fulfilled the whole contract. Got fucking murdered. But again, we've done multiple ones in that community, you know, because your work becomes a billboard of that person's home for everybody who comes in it. I like kitchens because where does everybody meet around in every holiday? The kitchen. And they're going to talk about, oh, look how amazing that kitchen is. So you got to think about business as every job is this little snowball, and it's at the top of the hill, and you just kick that thing down the hill, and it just builds and builds.
Well, it's like that patio I was doing over there at, what is that, Cedar Creek. And next thing you know, here comes one more neighbor. What are you offering?
Yeah.
Here comes another neighbor. What are you guys doing?
And a lot of those people might just be window shopping, but you don't know. Like, everybody needs to be treated to the same experience as every client.
Yeah.
You know? And because you don't know what that really, you don't know who one of those people might springboard you into. Right. They might open the door
for
Bob,
$150,000
or whatever. They might introduce you to Bob, who's going to introduce you to Steve, who's going to introduce you to Bill, who Bill's the plug of like all the jobs.
Everything.
You don't know that. So, you know, anybody that is like in business is like, oh, I don't know these people, I'm not good with people, then you better get...
You also got to start out, you know, you don't want to get too cocky coming into it. Like,
no,
me, like,
I mean, you
I don't have all the funds to be going on.
But you got to know, got to know what you're capable of doing, right? You know, like
you got to know how to market in between your means.
I mean, for us, I'm selective on the jobs we do because I know we're good at them. I don't take every job anymore. In the beginning, I thought we would be great at every job. We suck at a lot of jobs.
But like you said to me the other day, also that I can pivot a lot easier than these bigger companies.
And honestly, like the funny thing is, I think a lot of people have the misunderstanding that in business, the bigger you get, the more money you make. That's wrong. So the bigger you get, the less margins you make. So I had a conversation with a guy in construction in 2017, and this made me kind of stay where I wanted to be at. Big construction company. I think it was a $105 million construction company. And he was like, dude, I should have stayed at 50 million. He's like, I made way more money at 50 million than I do at 105.
There's a lot of guys out there that are just a 3-man crew that crush it.
Yeah. Because you're making fucking real margins.
Yeah.
Like when you are the person,
guys, like I work 4 days a week and I'm off the rest. And I did.
I mean, there's a lot of people in business. I'm like, I should have just done that. But like, honestly, man, I play for legacy. Like my houses and our communities and the things we touch and the people, like it's weird, man. I tell this all the time. Like somebody's going to flip one of our houses 50 years from now. It's fucking weird. Like it's wild to think about. But, you know, when you're small and you're able to keep all your stuff in-house and you're able to do, you know, most of the work or keep your overhead low, you're going to make way more margins than I do.
Yeah.
You know, because I have to share the money with everybody else, which is fine. I was cool with that. That's what I wanted to be. And that's the cool thing about business. You can be a one-man band and crush it and still coach Billy's baseball and still be a dad and still do all this shit and have time with your kids, or you can build a gigantic business and sacrifice all that and miss a lot of shit and make money.
Yeah.
Like, or there's in the middle. So business is cool, and I love business in the sense of you can take it to as big as you want or as low as you want. For us,
well, the ultimate goal is you're looking for, what is it, like freedom.
I think freedom's a fucking weird thing. I think freedom's a word that like has been conjured up. I think everybody's looking for stability. I think everybody's looking for their bills to be paid and not to freak out all the time. I think that's what ultimately we're all choosing to do.
I would consider freedom.
Right.
Freedom from that. Freedom from,
I think, for me, it's I want to love what I do and who I do it with. And I told my buddy this the other day. I said, dude, I need to understand and realize that I'm living my dream, and slow down to the point of like, everything I've ever dreamed and wanted is right in front of me, and all the problems are too. Yeah, so but don't you dare start,
No, but even with you, and I know you like the back of my hand, if somebody came and offered you $50 million for your company,
we would sell.
You'd sell.
Yeah, we would sell.
But you wouldn't sit around with that $50 million. You'd be starting something else up.
No, I would do. I would live the rest of my life and do a ski school and break even. Yeah. I would live off interest, off the millions, and I would do a ski school and break even for purpose. For purpose,
but
for
she'd
sure.
Be gone.
Oh, she's gone.
She's gone.
No, she's gone.
Sure.
She's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that's my.
But that you never know. That day could come.
No, that's my long-term goal.
I know that.
Yeah, that's my long-term goal.
Big.
Yeah, that's our long-term goal. Is the hard part about construction is it's not really sellable. The multiplier's low just because you kind of are an in and out cash. You're in and out business, and that's how banks look at you. And that's what makes it difficult. Anybody can get equipment for loan or a loan for equipment, like everybody in the world. To get a loan and shit for real estate and things that really matter, it's different. So you can go buy, any dude can go buy a car. Any dude can go buy a truck. Any dude can go buy a piece of equipment. Anybody can go do any of that shit right now. It's very easy. Interest rates are gonna be high as fuck.
Yeah.
But to go buy like real estate and refi and do all that shit, like you have to have real operating capital and you need to have good credit and you need to have all that stuff. Now, business in the sense of banks, they look at construction companies as you get a giant chunk in and you keep this teeny little piece of it.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it is, I was talking to a buddy of mine. He's like 86,000. It was a buddy Saturday. He runs a business and he brings in about 86,000 a month, and that's a good business. Yeah. Except our business is more like a $700,000 a month business at minimum. Like our business now is an $85,000 a month break even at minimum, and that becomes pressure. And you got to be built for that. You got to want that because you're going to be constantly having to fight.
Day-to-day costs that are huge. You know what I mean?
Your
Verizon bill is probably most people's mortgages.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Our internet bill is $700 a month.
Yeah.
My cleaning bill is $1,500 to $2,000 a month in our office.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I always tell people, I'm like, right now, we're stressed out because we have a lot going on in a positive manner, but right now our company's net negative 40, 50,000 a month.
Yeah.
Like we're losing money right now. But
the season's changing, so that's
it's all that, but that's business. Like that's
the business we're in though.
It's the business that all of us are in because not every quarter, every month is going to be this bomber of a month where everybody's like, we're, as a business owner, we just get paid. Like, no, you get paid sometimes. Like I went through COVID and didn't take a paycheck for a year, and dude, I mean, that's how that's going to go. Then last year we didn't worry about one payroll. Yeah. It just switches like that. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, like I said, boom, right back down. A little reminder where you came from.
That's why I listen to everything you have to say and a lot of other business owners have to say because, like you tell us, get ready because you're going to underbid jobs.
Oh, yeah.
You're gonna get fucked in some way.
Still do.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. You're gonna. But I also listen to guys that know what they're doing. But I also listen to guys that don't know what they're doing and do bad business, as you would say, and because you can learn just as much from somebody that fucks it all up, you know what I mean? Might have a big, persona around them or whatever, or their business. But like, there's a lot of people out there that like, they might say they're doing very well, but they're not.
Yeah, I mean, there's big box brands and even some not big box brands that have a gigantic persona around them that they might seem like they're good business, but they're not.
Yeah.
But
you can still learn from them.
No, you learn more.
Yeah.
No, you learn more.
Yeah.
That's how you play real chess.
Right.
When you're playing the game of business, you want to learn about what not to do more than what you want to learn about what to do.
Yeah.
Because when you start understanding and maneuvering through business, you're going to be tested at every corner. And then you're going to remember a conversation that you had with somebody and you were like, fuck, I know the outcome of this.
I know how this plays.
I'm walking away from this, boy.
Yeah.
That's real game. Because what happens is in business is we all have an ego. Everybody has an ego to some degree. So, luckily, I'm early on the first couple of years of our business, I developed an ego, specifically in the office across the street.
Cocky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also just doing dumb shit, like dumb shit.
Yeah.
Like I got caught in the weeds doing dumb shit. And right immediately I had identified and be like, hold on, all that stops. You
got people in your office that smoke check you sometimes? When you're doing that dumb shit?
Yes and no.
Because you need it.
No, definitely.
You need it.
It's weird because like I'm almost at the point like, and I don't say this, like not many people smoke check me. Period.
Yeah.
Except my homie from last. He knows. Homie from last. That dude smoke checks me hard.
Yeah.
Hard. But you need them kind of people in your life. You do too. Like we all kind of, when we're starting to be some type of way, like you want to look at your closest friends because you respect them. And you've been through so much in life with them. Like when they come at you and they're like, listen, bro, I think you need to chill.
Yeah.
Like then you need to chill.
Yeah.
Like
you're being
there's something going
just
on.
chill
Well,
off.
there's something going on.
Yeah.
And you need to take the sense to look at that and be like, all right, I'm fucking up.
Yeah.
And you need them friends in your life.
Yeah,
we had that conversation when you were going through your shit. Like, listen, bro, you need to flip flop this.
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
You did a great job.
Appreciate that.
You did an amazing job.
Appreciate that. It means a lot.
Because
you're literally the first person that has said that to me.
And I wanted to wait.
Yeah.
For this reason. And I've told you this a couple times. There's only a few friends of mine that I've given real game to that have listened. One of them's EJ, 100% listened to me and is doing his thing, and then you. A couple others on some other shit, but like, when someone's in a real situation that's fucking turmoil and fucked up, and they have so much outside noise, it's hard to break through the outside noise and be like, okay, I see super clear.
Yeah.
Now, when you were going through your situation, and you were panicking on all levels.
All levels. Calls every day.
What's going to happen? Yeah. And it's all the normal shit, and when we kept talking about it.
But I was also trying to narrate a lot of it. You know what I mean? I was trying to make sure that I was always in charge instead of in control.
It's that character defect, right? And again, I was there to be like, listen, man, like you gotta just let this be what this is. I promise this is gonna be better than you think. Now, did we love the outcome? No. Could have been a hell of a lot worse.
Could have been way worse. Way worse.
In the sense of, you rode that thing out, and you are in a blessed state, man. And I don't know, I know like things aren't always financially where we want them to be, or business isn't where it is, but I genuinely feel in the heart of hearts, like where you want to be in a certain big aspect in a role in life, you're there. And I think, we always need to stop and take a chill moment of that and be like, okay, I'm good on the back end. Like I'm cool, man, because it takes a different person to come out of the turmoil that we went through and understand that we need to change everything 180 degrees, or we are going straight the fuck back.
Yeah.
Now, you made a lot of moves that were very smart, and you made a lot of moves that you've changed as a person a lot, dude. And I'm talking 180.
Yeah.
And it is going to pay dividends for you. Now, it does never pay dividends fast enough. but it always comes.
Because I'm the type of person I want it.
We all do. We're
yesterday.
instant gratification. It's the
I'm gonna
exact same
tell
thing
you,
when people. It's the exact same thing when people ask me how the office is going. Not fast enough.
Yeah. But, after all that, at the time going through it, I was.
Yeah, you're beat down.
I was beat down. I was wore down. I mean, I just, but.
And that's
after doing
and
it
this
all,
is a
I'm like,
this is a conversation. This is a conversation
life.
that would be a whole separate thing. But for people that don't understand and or have major setbacks in life, the major setback just sets you up for the biggest comeback.
Absolutely.
And you really got to be built for this type of shit in the sense of how do I put this the correct way? You're reinventing yourself at all times.
Yeah.
You're not that person.
No.
And that you can't ever label yourself as that person.
No.
That's what I told you. I was like, you got to separate that bullshit into the person that you are now.
Yeah.
And that's what people need to see.
Yeah.
People need to see who you are now and fuck the other one.
Absolutely.
And I think you've done a great job of that, man. And I think
Well, I mean, certain blessings do come along the way. Like I went through all that. I ended up finding an amazing woman. Yeah, amazing. Supports me in every way. Something that
calls you on your bullshit.
Calls me on my bullshit.
Supports you and mentally, emotionally.
Reintroduced me into something that I was never about in my whole entire life because I was always forced to go. Got me back into
but also came with something that was a little side something to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That we all were kind of talking that you wanted as well.
Yeah.
I've
been waiting a long time for it.
Sure. And there's bullshit that comes along with that.
Yeah.
Bullshit comes along with everything that we want.
Yeah.
And that's always what I say about business is, I hope that, we'll and again, I'm not one of them dudes that I'll help you out anywhere that I can. When we get some stuff, we'll throw it to you. Whenever we get some opportunities, we'll throw it to you. On the walls and whatnot. It's, I think you just got to stay at it.
I got to build up to it.
It's just consistency.
Yeah.
And staying at it.
Getting the word out.
And taking that first leap and step and, so I know you have a Facebook page. We start posting some stuff there on it. Rough Diamond Contracting on Facebook.
Yep. An excavation. That's correct. Yep.
So this year, anybody, hardscape, walls, French drains, we got the wet season. Anybody needs any stuff like that, I would contact Rough Diamond Contracting, my man Craig Markley, or DM me for any of his additional information. Get his info out there. It's been a great episode, man.
Yeah, man. Good seeing you as always.
Appreciate it.
Glad to hear.
All right,
Bring the
everybody.
ratings up.
Enjoy.
All right, buddy.